What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACC 339 Dudley Road, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to another program, series of What's on Your Mind. Program is produced by Breakthrough TV, and I am Carl. This is a live stream, and we'll be here until 9 o'clock this afternoon. How you doing, guys? Hope all is well with you. Let me say thank you for tuning into the program. Don't forget, if you're on the link out there, you can find us on Facebook, Insta, and all over the place. Yeah, we're there. And as I say, this is a live stream. I want to say a big shout out to my very special guest who was here last week, Sister Maureen Watson. Big yourself up, Sister Maureen Watson. That was a wonderful show. Hope all is well with you. Yeah, and don't forget to tune in and press like, share. Thank you. Hope all is well with you, and things are not too bad in the UK. It's been a lot of rain today, you know what I mean, but it's just one of those things. And I want to say a big shout out to all you guys who actually tune in to our program, you know what I mean. Big shout out to you. I gotta shout out a couple of people just before I move on. Gotta go back to the very early days when we had one of the very first person we actually had on this program was a lady called Patricia Panson. She was the first one we had, you know what I mean. And big shout out to you, Pat, and she was on the telephone. Then we had Malika Queely, the violins. Big shout out to you, Malika Queely. Hope all is well with you. Long time no see. Hope everything with you. And then we move on. And we have people such as Sister Beulah Ross. You know what I mean? We had Soulful Eye, yes. And we had Steve Morrison. Steve Morrison, who actually, big shout out to you, Steve. Who actually what we say in the business, run. He's there. He's the director and the producer for the Legends Band. That's what I'm gonna say. Hope those are absolutely marvelous. You know what I mean? And we had people like G.T. Haynes. You know what I mean? Big shout out to you. Big shout out to you. We have people like Sister, the legendary, the Legends of Legend lady, you know what I mean? And all those wonderful people. We also had Soulful Eye, big shout out to you. Kush Goldie, big shout out to you. There's so many must come into my head. I also want to say big shout out to all you guys who watch the program, you know what I mean? Some very regular people who watch the program. Let me say very thank you. A guy in the West Indies, Carlos Gabidan, big shout out to you. He's always there. Thanks for your comments, you know what I mean? Also, Hazel, big shout out to you. Hope all is well. Girline, how you doing? Good afternoon. The whole family, you know who you are. Big shout out to you. All in the United States. I want to say big shout out to you, Delroy, big shout out. We'll be in touch very soon. Let me say Hector, big shout out to you. There's so many just popping into my head like that. Anyway, as I was talking, this lady in my studio with me today, she's also been on our program. In fact, I think you can actually find her in program 63. My very good. My guest this afternoon is Sister Carnita Tayler. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome to Breakthrough TV.
Thank you.
How are you?
Me? I'm good.
You're good?
Yes.
What's happening? What have you been up to?
Oh, everything.
Everything's up.
Yes,
yeah.
everything.
And you're here to tell us about your condition, what we call your remission,
Yeah.
and what you've been going through. So, and I say we talk about it in the early days. We talk about it before we ever knew about it, and then we talk about it on the show when you reveal to us about it.
Yeah.
And then you came back and we actually talk on radio about it also.
Yes,
you know what I
we
mean?
did, yes.
It's good to have you back in the studio.
Thank
And how
you.
you feeling?
I feel good.
You good?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Absolutely marvelous. And your housework?
Good, busy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to Breakthrough TV. Now, let me ask you the laugh joke, the one for the laugh. Have you ever seen a ghost?
No.
I've asked everybody that if they ever see a ghost.
And I don't want to.
Or should I say, I also have ever seen a duppy. See, that one makes you laugh.
No.
Now, I've asked all my guests I'm going to ask, have they ever seen a duppy? Because duppy is very popular now.
Oh,
so that's
okay.
why I'm asking all my guests who actually comes into this studio, have they ever seen a duppy?
Have you?
Yeah, I've seen something. I don't know what it was, but I've seen it. And if you was born in Jamaica, everybody's seen a duppy sometime or another, you know what I mean? So you're aware that you actually see something when you actually, you know, when you're actually growing up, and you would have heard the story of something that's actually happening. So, you know what I mean? It's just one of those ones. Anyway, guys, let me say thank you. Anyway, as you know, I always look at a few things that's happening across the world. And some very strange things that are happening across the world, even in our own country. In our own country, moving on, a man has been arrested, and also a woman has also been arrested. And they have been arrested on the charge of murder, and they've actually killed a man in Birmingham, and another man is injured. And this happened is in Cadbury Drive, and this is actually not very far from here, which is Castlevale, you know, which is absolutely a terrible thing. And once again, we see more and more crime and more knife crime going up, you know what I mean? And even in our city in Birmingham, I was looking at the stat, I think it's about 588 you know, in 1 year, which is absolutely ridiculous. Families are also, moving on to my next story, family have also paid tribute to another man who actually died in Warsaw over the weekend. Akeem Kerr was actually knifed to death in Warsaw. And he was at a nightclub, a well-known nightclub in Warsaw, and they say he was actually knifed. Detectives are actually looking for the person who actually carried out this attack. And they also say if he know who he is, he should actually turn himself in. Yeah. And they say when we see things like that happening in our streets, I know a lot of people don't like me to talk about it, but it's the reality of life. And I always say to you, I have to talk about this because life is not cheap. You know what I mean? I always say life is not cheap, and I have to talk about it, and we have to sort of mention it because it's like life is not cheap and life is very precious. Carnita, what's your feedback on that?
I'm just, if I be honest, I'm sick of hearing it.
Yeah, you're sick. And as I
There's,
say,
there's too many, like literally every week.
yeah,
There's someone dying or getting stabbed, and they're young. You know what I mean?
exactly.
They're young.
They're all young people. I was looking at a report on a Birmingham paramedics. He was actually saying that the amount of them he actually rushes to, and one boy was about 12-year-old. He actually rushes. One boy was about 12-year-old, and when he actually rushed to rescue him or to treatment, it's like he was unconcerned. He wasn't scared. He wasn't worried. He was just like, it takes it. You know what I mean? It's like the norm.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He was actually unconcerned. And this report is actually comes from like the Birmingham Mail. And if you look at what the paramedics, he's been talking about it. I actually talk about this on the radio on Monday. If you look at it, what he's actually been saying and what is actually happening, you know what I mean? It's actually ridiculous. And it's a waste of life.
Of course
and
it is.
there's no need for it, you know?
They haven't even lived life.
No. I mean, 12-year-old.
Same age as my daughter.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean? And I don't know how things like that happen. I don't know how they actually get involved. You know what I mean? When something like this happens, you know what I mean?
It's boredom. There's nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
It's boredom.
Seriously. You think
Yeah, because when we was younger, we had youth clubs
Mhm.
that you can go to. There's not many of them right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been going on for such a long time. Then, and why don't the government or the community leaders or the community workers do something or put something together? The churches can do something as well. I'm sure.
definitely.
I'm sure they can all get involved. And what is it? What it is? Why is it taking so long?
I think it's a lot of things. It's down to money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's just again, I think parents need to come together as much more now than they did before.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of parents are doing that.
No.
So it's a lot of things.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. And don't forget to leave your comment. Let's have your opinion on what is going on. Big shout out to you. Don't forget, we're also on Facebook, so check that out, yeah? Now, let me move on. This is also another crazy story. Now, there was a funeral in Wales, and the people that was actually mourning, they actually was disturbed. The whole funeral was disrupted. And 9 men was actually fighting in the cemetery. They had shovel, they had machetes, they have axe, they had hammer. We got the clip of it, but we can't show you because it's very disturbing. And as I said, 9 of them is in jail now, you know what I mean? And the one guy, he had blood running from the back of his head all over the place. You know what I mean? This is at a funeral. If this is happening at a funeral, what else is going on in the damn world? Can you imagine that?
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And this is Wales, and it's a section. And we see. How do I say this? Without offending anyone, we see a lot of things like this happening to our own kind of people. You know what I mean? We see a lot in our own community. Then I could say, well, this was outside of our own community. This is not even people from the what I call British African heritage people. You know what I mean? If you see what I'm saying, without offending anyone, this is from what you call another race of people. So it's happening all over the place. And there's no getting away from it. There's no getting away from it. Let me ease down a little bit. Now, Jamaica, I've reached you, Jamaica. Now, there was a fire in Jamaica over the weekend, Kingston, West Street. Know West Street very well. Went to West Street when I was very, very young with my aunts. We used to go to West Street, we used to go shopping, and we used to come back to West Street and catch the bus. So I know what I'm talking about. Downtown, we call it. So we went to... There's been a fire, so there's been a fire in West Street, and one woman, what's her name? Sharon says she has been left traumatized she had a small house, a 2-bedroom house, and the fire destroyed everything. You know what I mean? And her son came back and tell her about the fire, and she run to rescue that was in the house. As I say, everything got burned up, and she says she's very, very traumatized of what happened with the fire. We still don't know what exactly started the fire, you know what I mean, which was actually terrible. And this lady is actually a market vendor. So when you see things like that happen, you think, oh my dear, you know what I mean, it's just it's just terrible. The video is there as well, and I say there's certain clips we cannot show you because of the of how disturbing those sort of things can be. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now the next one is also a very, very strange one. Now this is like a prank. It's a prank also in Jamaica. This happened in Jamaica, halfway tree. And it's a prank which is a very, very strange prank because what some men are actually doing, they're actually going around and they're actually robbing people at the ATM machine and at the bank. Now how do I put this? They're not exactly robbing you, but they're pretending to robbing you. But while they're robbing you, they're videoing it. And the police says they're streaming it. And they're getting a lot of views, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the police has actually said, if there's been any victims, could they please get in touch? You know what I mean? Even if haven't recorded you and put it out, could the victim please get in touch? So they call it a prank. And some of the victims have actually been traumatized. And I don't know how you can call that. Don't even know what to call it. I wouldn't call it a prank. It's just
not a prank.
It's just crazy. Yeah. What do you think of that?
It's like it's not funny, but it's just sad.
It is sad, isn't it?
It's very sad. It is sad, and I don't know what the word's coming to be honest. It's sad.
It'd be crazy, absolutely crazy. And I say, as I say, a lot of people has been left traumatized. So you go to the ATM machine or you go to the bank, and some guys come up with you and gone through your handbag or gone through your stuff and rob you, give me this and give me that, and they're videoing it as well, and they're sending it out. You know what I mean? A live stream to get views. Crazy world, crazy world. Absolutely disgusting. Now, let me move on to something which is not so, not so heavy. Now, gone to The Voice Online. A new sickle cell podcast has been launched, and it's to make people with sickle cell aware of their condition. And sickle cell is a 5-part podcast, and it is hosted by a medical doctor, and she's also a very popular multimedia person. And they say this is a 5-part documentary, a podcast, I should say, that's actually going out. So you can actually check that out. And they say sickle cell is now one of the leading figures. The condition is very, very high in the UK. As I should say, it's very, very high. And as I say, this podcast has been put out to sort of make people more aware of that. And it's rising, and the condition is actually rising in what we call African heritage people, very, very quick, you know what I mean? It's one of the condition that is rising very, very fast in the UK. So we hope that podcast can actually help you, you know what I mean? And also those with sickle cell, it will be a good thing to check out. And don't not check it out. Do check it out. I know you've been like where you've been. Sickle cell, what do you think of that, sickle cell?
Sickle cell, I know about sickle cell very well from my family.
Yeah.
So it's more noticeable now than it has been.
Yeah.
Like it used to be underneath the carpet, like people didn't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Like a taboo kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is needed to know because more people are having it, and obviously it's like if sickle cell tray.
Yeah.
And then you meet someone else, and then you become together. That can
sugar it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously that child more likely will have it.
Yeah. And I have come across people that talk about sickle cell or has sickle cell. It takes me a long time before I could sort of understand it or get my head around it. And I think that is probably one of the things as well. A lot of people sort of don't really understand it. Maybe we don't sort of talk about it enough to get our heads around with it.
We don't.
You know?
And obviously because it's in our community more than any other nationality, it's something that we do need to talk about more.
Why do you think we don't talk about it?
It's like everything.
People
don't talk about domestic abuse. Some people don't talk about sickle cell. People don't talk about cancer. It's things that they don't want to talk about that we need to talk about these things because they are in our face.
Yeah.
And more we talk about it, more we can help other people.
You're totally right. And I say, I don't know why we don't sort about it. It's just that thing that you know what I mean. And by not talking about it, you're not sort of helping people.
You're not helping.
No.
You know what I mean. And then people then stay away and they keep themselves. Like, you know, a young girl not long ago this year, she passed away from sickle cell, and she was young. I think she was like 26, 27.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's young people who are dying from it as well, and because they're not getting the right treatments. Obviously, it's down to do obviously the blood. So a lot of people are not donating blood. So it's a lot of things. Yeah. It's a lot of things.
I recall many years ago, one of my very, very good friends. She had a child that had sickle cell, and she had it for years. You know what I mean? And she had all the different operations. You know what I mean? In the end, she actually died, which was actually a very, very terrible thing. You know what I mean? It actually happened. You know, it's just one of those ones that's not really a proper word to say. Is one of those ones, but you don't know sort of how to explain it. You know, when that's happened. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, Japanese scientist has created 2 mice with biological fathers, and what they're actually saying, they've actually they're heading towards. These scientists are heading towards what they've done. They've got the mice eggs, and they blend it with human cell skin, according to the Guardian report. And they're planning to have been able to allow men to have children. And that's not just I know you gotta try and keep serious with it. And it's also to help to help to fertility treatment, you know, for other people. And also there's a disease that's actually called Turner syndrome. I don't know if you ever heard of the Turner syndrome. And so that's where we are with that sort of thing, you know.
No comment.
I know. It's all right. You know, when I came across this, you know, I thought, man, you're gonna struggle with this because it's just can you get your head around that? It's something that you can't get your head around, is it? You know what I mean? It's a crazy thing, and I find it very, very difficult when I came across this story, and I'm trying to get my head around it, like having using men's skin cell to produce a child that 2 men can actually have children. Oh. Where I come from, they'll say, Pupagada Wagwan! It's only a drill. It's only what they gotta say. It's only who come from where could say that, who know what that means. Pupagada Wagwan! Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, if you thought that was crazy, this is not as crazy as that one, but this one is a little crazier. Now, this has been big on social media, and this lady has come across a lot of things on social media. Well, this lady, she's actually, Sophie, she's actually married to herself. Yes? Sophie has married to herself. This is an article that actually comes out in the Mirror. She actually married to herself. Now, after she married to herself, I told everyone is going crazy. After she married to herself, she decided, guess what she decided?
I don't know.
Use the common sense one. If you're married and something else, what do you want to do? Use the common sense one.
Have a baby.
No. She hasn't got there yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad she hasn't got to that one yet. She wants a divorce. And as I said, she's actually put a lot of photographs up on Instagram and everywhere, you know what I mean? She married to herself, and after that, she wants a divorce. I think she actually got married in February, you know, and after that, she wants a divorce. Can you imagine that? Why would you want to marry to yourself? Absolutely. Crazy story this week, guys. Actually crazy story. But sometimes that is good to look at what, from a different point of view, what is going on around the world, and then you just want to get your head around it, you know what I mean? And that makes you laugh, doesn't it? That's like crazy. Married to yourself, and then you want a divorce.
Wow.
Oh, dear me. Yeah, it is a crazy world that we're living in. It's crazy times. We wonder what's going to happen next. You know, we see crazy things as well. The other thing, there's a bit of crazy things as well. We actually see in the United States where there was a big thing going on with a bank in America. You know what I mean? And people was pulling out their money out the bank and was scared if they're going to lose their money, you know, and everything is going into some coins or whatever, you know what I mean, what they call it. And sooner or later, I'm not scaring here, sooner or later, maybe it's good to have a lot of your money at home, because when you go to the bank, you're possibly not going to be able to get your money.
Wow.
So you don't know what is going on. I haven't researched that very, very well. So I need to go and research it, because I'm going to talk about this in the future, but I need to get all the details on it, you know what I mean, and get exactly what is happening. But I said this has just jumped my attention in the last couple of days, and I need to go into that and research it and dig it out and actually see what is going on, so we can explain it a little bit better right here on Breakthrough TV. Yeah. Now, I haven't talked about sports for a while, but this is also about a sports presenter. Now, Gary Lineker is also going to be my rant. Gary Lineker is actually returning to Match of the Day on the BBC. And he'll go back the weekend. As you know, Gary Lineker was suspended by the BBC because he actually criticized the BBC and migration policy, the government migration policy. So he actually criticized the government. Now, the BBC allegedly possibly didn't like it, so they actually suspend him. And this actually happened on social media. And the BBC's actually announced that they're going to review how, you know, people possibly that work with them in the company operate on social media, and they're going to give different guidelines on social media. So that is where that is. But my rant is coming up after, because I'm going to have a little bit to rant about Gary Lineker as well. Now, until I just jump out at me like it does, the Daily Mail. Now, here's something very, very, very. Now, before I move on to that story, something very, very strange. Keep it on the same story. Today, jump out at me. A conservative councillor, I should say, a conservative councillor calls Arsenal legend Ian Wright a black hypocrite person. Yes. And this is because he actually supported Gary Lineker. Alex McEvery from Hampshire put this on social media. Now, she's actually apologized. Now, the thing I find about people, you see, who's in that position, they mean it in the first place. But you can't turn around and apologize when you do something like that, because you know exactly what you're going to do. I always feel that about these sort of people. It's all right, me and you apologize, I apologize to you. But I always feel this kind of person, they know exactly what they're doing. So when they put it out there, oh, I apologize, I didn't mean it. I've been taken, my context has been taken out of where it should be. Well, let me look at it again. Let me look at it again. And she says, let me just check this again. I got to make sure it's checked, because I know exactly what it's in. The councillor for Arsenal, for Ian Wright, has said, a typical, what her word was a typical black hypocrite. Now, I've said to you many, many times, well, I never use that word. Because when people turn it on you, they use it the negative way on you. I know a lot of people, a lot of us say, oh, we should embrace it and we should do this with it and we should do this. And I'm talking about you. I'm going back to where people like James Brown, I'm black and I'm proud. Yes? So it's a very, very hard word for all of us to get away from. Yeah? And I've said this many, many times. A lot of my own people is not going to like me for saying this, but it's the reality of life, because everything they use on that word, it's always negative about us, and we're supposed to embrace it. You see where I'm going with that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comment, please. You're going to say that woman is probably an idiot, but... yeah, well... Now, let me move on. A little bit of entertainment, a little bit more light-hearted entertainment now. Entertainment. A very special Windrush. Moving on to my next story. A very special Windrush Mother's Day celebration is being held. And this is being held the 19th of March. And it's celebrating sisters. It's organized by the Fair Weather production in association with Windrush 75th. And this is actually happening in Croydon. It's happening on Fairfield Hall in Croydon. And you've got a lot of artists that's actually going to be there, you know what I mean? You have people like, will be actually hosting the, this wonderful event. We have Donna Spencer. We had Audrey Scott. We also have a wonderful lady called Christine Giscombe. We also have the legendary Lovers Rock lady, Carol Campbell. They'll be all there. And also a lady, Carmen Monroe. Yes, Carmen Monroe, the lady from where? Do you recognize that name? Desmond.
Oh, okay.
You remember the mother in Desmond?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
So that is the celebration being advertised here, but that's actually she's the mother in Desmond. That actually she's gonna be there as well. I think I actually many years ago, when my mother has control of the television, like you do when you live in at home, I actually saw there was a clip that was actually going through, and she was actually a nurse. She was on a program that was actually first. Long before Desmond, that was actually the first place I actually see her. I think I actually spotted her in that program when I was on the island. And yeah, that's where I've actually first see her. And I used to think, what a wonderful lady, you know what I mean? And it is wonderful. I actually want to happen. Do you remember the actress in that? The actress that actually plays her daughter.
Yes, and long
yes,
flats, yeah.
I've never ever see her anywhere.
No, I agree. I was thinking that as well.
I've never ever see her. No, guys, if you know what, I can't even think of her name. If you know what happened to this lady, or you ever spot this lady, hook us up, because I've never ever see her. I've seen the guy, you know, the Flash guy. What was his name? But he went to America, become a big actor in America. Yeah. But I've never ever seen that lady anywhere else or anywhere on television. And we all know Desmond. We all see Desmond in different things. You know what I mean? And we also see Pork Pie. I've even seen Pork Pie in Death in Paradise. Yeah, in recent years. But I've never ever seen that lady anywhere. I don't never ever whatever happens to her. Yeah. Moving on. Now, still with entertainment. Now, this wonderful lady is actually an actress, and she actually turns up at the Oscars. Now, the Oscars, I don't know if we was involved in the Oscars this year, as per usual. You know what I mean? Angela Bassett. She actually turns up with her family at the Oscars, which is actually marvelous. You know what I mean? And she was actually wearing, I think that was purple. We call that purple color, isn't it?
Purple, yeah.
Purple with her daughter, matching color dress, which is actually marvelous. You know what I mean? And I said there was at Oscar 2023. They all came to support her in the nomination. You know what I mean? I don't think she actually won the top prize, but as I say, I don't think a lot of us, you know, with sort of this actually plays a big part in this year's Oscar. I mean, and also over the years, a lot of us haven't sort of played a big part in the Oscar, as you know what I mean, guys. You know what I mean? Away from the slap that we see, away from the slap yesterday. I didn't say yesterday, did I? Away from the slap last year. That's Will Smith gave Chris Rock, and Chris Rock been milking that slap as well. You know what I mean? He's been really milking that slap. You know. And I like Chris Rock. I tell you when I like Chris Rock. I'm not saying I don't like Chris Rock. But I like Chris Rock when Chris Rock actually turns up in Boomerang.
Okay, yeah.
He was in Boomerang, a very, very young Chris Rock in Boomerang. And he was saying to Eddie Murphy, go and get that girl, Eddie. Don't let she be to go and get him. That was a young, very Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Also, moving on. Now, Jamaica. Now, it was a big bash in Jamaica by the soca artist, Skinny Fabulous. Did a great show in Jamaica, and he did a 15-minute show for Hennessy BRT, which was happening in St. Anne's, Duns River. And I said, all of the people them just wind up and having fun, and soca come to Jamaica and having a great time. So that was actually marvelous, you know what I mean? So, and a lot of people loved that fantastic concert. So it was great to see that, yeah. Now, I reached my rant. I'm going quick this week, actually. I've reached my rant. My next story, please. I've reached my rant, yes. Now, injustice, inequality. So Gary Lineker has returned to his £1.3 million per annum job at the BBC sports presenter. This is $25,000 per 1 hour show per week. Is this too much for one person to be getting? He's also getting my TV license money. We see food banks in our country. We see people starving in our country. We see cost of living crisis going up our country. And one person is getting so much money. 1.3 million per annum. Is this too much money for one person? What does he do with it? I also hopes that what he's actually been talking about and when he actually criticized the government of what he's actually talking about, the migration situation, I hope he puts some money into that also. And if he doesn't put any money into that, I hope he actually sets up different charities. Or what he can do, he can get his colleagues and they all come together. You know how me talk about the thing of coming together? And they all come together and do different things. Because one of the things about this, he has a lot of support. A lot of people was supporting him at the BBC. So I still think this is too much money for one person. The other thing is, well, a lot of people would say, well, why you bring money into this, Carl? Because he was talking about free speech. Of course he's talking about free speech, which I'm talking about free speech because I think I have my free speech. I'm going to say, for the moment, I have my free speech. She laughed at me. For the moment, I have my free speech. But, because I can use my free speech, I'm saying, why is one person getting so much money for presenting a television program? You know what I mean? And he's not the only one, because a lot of people get ridiculous amount of money, and they're the minority. You know what I mean? The land, a lot of people cannot find anywhere to live. There's a lot of land. One person who owns all that land. Ridiculous amount of money. Some places are going the world, and some countries are going the world. And you look out there, so one man owns all that bloody land. It's injustice. And it's inequality.
Agree.
Agree.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is our world coming to? You know what I mean? And all he does is, I mean, he said, well, he probably said, Carl, you can't do my job. Okay, fair enough. Probably can't do your job. But, as I say, it's just too much money for one person to be getting. Whether you like him or not, it's not because I don't like him. It's just the reality of things. You know what I mean? And I say, I pass many food banks. You know what I mean? Day in, day out. Right in my own city. You know what I mean? I would never ever dream of this many years ago. You know? And you was born here, so you know that. You know what I mean? You never see this thing. And you see people setting up different food banks all over the place helping. You see guys, I got out the studio now and I'm driving the road and there's somebody's begging. It's not because he wants to beg. I don't believe anybody wants to beg. I know some of you, if you're just begging because he don't want to work. I don't really believe that. I don't really believe that. I think people are desperate. And when people are desperate, that is what happens. Yeah. So, as I say, I hope Mr. Lineker puts some of that money to very good use. And as I say, I'll repeat myself again, I hope he can get together with all his brethren, what we call his brethren, yes. And it's not funny, but I have to laugh. Get together with all his brethren and put something together and help all those wonderful people that needs help, yes. And do the cloud. So just don't remember. And when he's gone, we don't want to remember him for just being a presenter on the BBC. We want to remember him as Gary Lineker, who gets a ridiculous amount of money. 1.3 million. It did help a lot of people. Don't forget, I'm in that sort of mood. Like, share, and subscribe. All you guys who's watching to the program, let me say thank you. Sister Carnita Tayler, how are you?
I'm good.
Tell me your story, my sister. It's your turn.
It's my turn.
It's your turn. So you're in remission.
I am.
Yeah. And as I say, you first came here when we talked before, and then you tell us that what was affecting you. So tell us a little bit what was affecting you.
So I got diagnosed with lymphoma cancer in 2021.
Okay.
In September. Before that, I was obviously, I felt a lump in my, they say neck, but it was about chin around here.
Okay.
And it was growing. Because it was in COVID, GP doesn't want to see you.
Nobody wants to see you.
No. So I spoke to them on the phone, and then the lady said, "Oh, it's not hurting you, it's nothing," and basically fobbed me off. And then my mum and my sister says, "No, we can see it, like, go back." So I thought, okay, then let me go back.
You could see, what could you see?
A lump.
Is it?
Yeah, obviously nothing there now, but
Okay.
I had a lump.
Okay.
And then I phoned the doctors again. This time they was able to see me. So I went in. The doctor was good. She checked me all over, did blood tests. And then she said, "I'm going to refer you to a cancer unit."
Okay.
So I laughed, as in, it's not that serious. Like, it's just a lump. Like, maybe I'm run down. A lot of things was going on around that time. She goes, just, procedure, just routine checks. So she referred me. She phoned me the next day and said, your blood test has come back and they're fine.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, then normally if anything's going to be picked up, it's going to be my blood.
Yeah.
So I went back, like I just waited, basically. Then I had to have a biopsy. And then I waited 3 weeks. I thought, well, no news is good news. And then what happened, they wrote me a letter saying I have to come in. So I thought, okay. So I phoned them up. I said, quite this time on the phone. Because, oh no, you need to come in. You know, it'd be better if you come in.
Did you have any pain?
No.
You didn't have any pain? No?
It was uncomfortable, but there was no pain.
Yeah.
So I went in and I was in a good mood.
Okay.
Because I was in denial, who knows, but I was in a good mood. So when I went in and then I went inside the room, then I knew straight away something was wrong, because at the time it was a Macmillan nurse, 2 other doctors, and then my consultant. And then he was just like, he just split it out. He didn't talk up to it. He just said it.
He just said it.
He just said it.
How do you feel at that time?
He was just talking and talking and talking, and I just burst out in crying. And he was just talking about so many things that I have to do, like treatments, and all I was thinking, how I'm going to tell my daughter, am I going to die? Loads of things going through my head. And then I just, the Macmillan lady said, let's go out and talk, you know, privately. And then she just says, she apologized for him, how he said it, and just said, you know, it is curable. We don't know what stage you're at the moment. And yeah, just kind of, I had to have a surgery on my neck. Okay. That was scary because there was major side effects, but lucky enough I didn't have them.
Yeah. Where are you at now? Where are you at?
So I had my chemo last year for 6 months.
Yeah.
So I finished that in August. And then I was in remission for 6 months.
What's that like? How do you feel?
And I suppose anyone who's going through cancer will understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. You're having routine checks, going to the doctors, the hospital every 3 weeks to have a blood test, a COVID test. Then you're having chemo, and consultancy is always there. You can pick up the phone and speak to anyone. Once you have been told that you're in remission, you're left alone.
So you're not getting any help.
So you're not on any medication. You're not doing anything. Okay. You literally just you're offending yourself, basically. Not get it wrong. Yeah. If I feel anything, or I can pick up the phone and call my nurse or my doctor, but you're not having any routine checks. You're not in any routine for anything. Okay. So you just feel isolated. You feel left alone. You feel like you're being abandoned. You're like rejected.
Yeah. And there's nobody you can talk to about what about advice, counselor, or whatever.
There's Macmillan they're good. Yeah. I did have a counsellor. I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't the greatest. Okay. But I just felt alone, if I be honest. It was just like you left to your own devices. Like you just kind of had to figure things out yourself. Yeah. And so that 6 months was very lonely. Even though I've got great family and I got great friends, but no one knows what you're going through because they're not going through it themselves. Yeah, and I guess the COVID situation wouldn't have made it any easier. Yeah, exactly. To also access people, different things. Yeah. And while you going through all that, did you have a lot of pain? Did you feel a lot of pain? No.
Also the whole thing before you go.
No, with the chemo, I had to be very careful of what I do or where I go and stuff like that. Because obviously I'm prone, my immune system is not the best. I didn't have pain. I felt sometimes sick, like, nauseous, but sometimes headaches. But I went bedridden. Okay. But I think for me...
And you still go around trying to do things, yeah?
Yeah, for me, I think you had two choices. Is one, you take it on and really or you think, you know what, I'm going to beat this. Okay. And for me, I had a lot to fight for. Like, I've got my daughter, so I'm not ready to be leaving her too soon. So she was my reason to fight for.
How did this affect your daughter when you tell her?
In a lot of ways. Yeah. Because she was 10 at the time.
Okay.
So, you know, she's just starting, she's obviously in junior school. I made the teachers aware of what was going on, because there was times I wouldn't be able to take her while I was doing treatment. They're very supportive, I have to say. They're very supportive. But children are children. Sometimes kids can be nasty. And say nasty things. But she's just a strong little girl. She keeps me on my toes. Trust me, she keeps me on my toes.
I want to ask you a question, but because we're on the nasty, have you come across any negative people since you're going through this?
Yeah, you do.
You do come across this.
But I'm all about my family and my friends and the community. But I have left a lot of people
behind.
Yeah, like if you're not on my wavelength and you're not putting me high, like high spirit, I just don't entertain it.
Okay. Now the other thing I want to say, people with the same condition of you. Have you come across many people with the same condition of you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And how common is this? Because
lymphoma cancer is the 5th most common cancer.
Yeah.
But it's not common enough, as in, when I mean not common, like people are not talking about lymphoma. Like the most common ones are breast cancer, prostate cancer, throat cancer.
I've heard about all of those. And I've never heard about.
Exactly. But I never
the first one when I first interviewed you, I said I've never heard about.
No, and to be fair, before I had it, I never knew about it either. Obviously, I've done my research since then, but I never knew about lymphoma cancer. And because obviously, like lymphatic system, you know, is what keeps us going. Yeah. So it's very important to know, because when I diagnosed with cancer, I had it in my neck, but then when I had a PET scan, I had it in my groin as well. Yeah. So I had it in 2 places. Yeah. So it was, I never knew I had it in my groin because I didn't feel any pain or anything. Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those things. Like there's a lot of symptoms with lymphoma. Like high fever.
I'm just gonna ask you. Yeah, name us a couple of the symptoms. Yeah.
So high fever, chills, obviously a lump. So your lump could be in your neck, your armpits, groin, your stomach, obviously the lymphatic areas, and fatigue. Okay. Those are the symptoms. But because I'm anemic anyway, I was tired, so I didn't relate to anything. I'm just thinking, I'm overworking, whatever. So that's what I say to everybody, check yourself, because if you don't have any of those symptoms and you just have a lump, that is one of the symptoms, and doctors will fob you off. Okay. So you have to kind of know your body.
Does it affect your sleeping or your
I'm bad at sleeping anyway. I've got insomnia. So so to be fair, I wouldn't say maybe having chemo. Yeah. It made me more sleepy. Yeah. In that sense, but yeah.
And also, we've reached a stage now where let's come back to remission. You're at that stage now. How are you coping yet? And
well, I had my 6 months check yesterday, and I can say I'm still cancer free. Right. So I got to go back another 6 months time, but I'm happy. Yeah. So I'm going on holiday next month, so with my daughter, so we can really celebrate. Yeah. So I'm happy about that.
What about diets? What about your diet? Does certain food affect you, or would you say about
well, when I was speaking to the doctors, they don't know what affects it. Yeah. But obviously, when I did the research, stress is a major one. Yeah. And obviously, I was very stressed around that time. Eating, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't have the best diet. Yeah. I'd go out all the time, eat at restaurants. I'd drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I've cut it out. Food, I am getting better. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I am getting better. Yeah. And exercising, obviously, that's very important. Keeping active.
Exercise is very important.
You know what I mean? Keeping the body going. So, yeah.
What would you like to say to people out there who's sort of going through the same struggle?
You know what? I have faith. I believe in God. So, trust me, He's been there. The time when I'm low, as much as people might see, Carnita's always happy, she's always, I do have sad times, but God has kept me going. My daughter's kept me going, my family's kept me going, my friends have kept me going, and it's just being around the right people, keeping yourself active, getting diagnosed with cancer is not nice in itself anyway. Yeah. but it's how you deal with it. And I'm so strong on the mindset that you really do have to feel, you know what, it's about how you think. It's how you, spiritually, your emotions, they're all tying together. So I just think it's important to talk as well. Like, don't keep your feelings inside. Let people know how you feel. Let people know how you want to be treated when you have been diagnosed. And just live life. Like, they say it's a death sentence, and unfortunately for some it is.
Do you know of anybody who's got this and gone?
Not in lymphoma. Like, I'm in a group called Lymphoma Action.
What does that do?
So you got different stages.
Okay.
So I was stage 3, and you got low grade and high grade.
Okay.
So I was low grade, but can turn to high grade very easily. So
when you say low grade, explain to us a little, because
low
when
grade.
you say low grade and high grade, explain.
So low grade is like, basically I caught mine early.
Okay.
So I was able to. My consultant didn't want to do chemo straight away. He wanted to wait. Basically, in my head, wait till it gets aggressive. So I said no. If I've got cancer, let's treat it now.
Okay.
But because if I was high grade, it would have been straight away.
Straight away. Yeah.
And then obviously you got chemotherapy and you got radiotherapy. But because I had it in 2 places, I wasn't able to have radiotherapy. Yeah. So where there's people have stage 4, where it's more aggressive, where it can be a lot more in the body. Yeah. And their chemo is more intense. Okay. So that's the differences between obviously stage 4, so stage 1 to stage 4.
Yeah. And I guess if you sort of fall in the, so you as I say, you were the low grade, and I guess if you fall in the middle, it's also what would you if you were to fall in the middle? Would that look, say, let's be a hypothetical question. What would you do if you sort of fall in the middle? Would they work on you straight away? I mean, let's know your comments, guys. I mean, there must be more of you out there who's actually watching this program, who's actually been through that sort of condition. It'd be good to have their feedback. And you say you're in a group. What does the group actually do?
So there's an organisation called Lymphoma Action. They're the only one in the world, and basically it's all people in there who's got lymphoma cancer, and we just help each other. We support. Like, if you feel sad, you can just. We're all in the same situation.
And how do you find them? Is it easy to find them, or how do you find them?
So you can go onto Facebook and you can just put in Lymphoma Action, and you can find them there. Yeah. I've done an article recently with them in a magazine about my story. So if you want to share your story, they would obviously do that for you as well to help others.
Yeah. And I know you because when we talk about how's the writing going? Because you think of authorizing your book, or do you know what I mean?
So
I know you had a chapter in the book.
Yeah. So I'm doing a book at the moment. Yeah. On my journey of life. Yeah. But yes, that's coming out very soon. What
is it called?
If I be honest, I'm on the title. I've got a title, but I'm not going to share it because I might change it. I might change it.
And what's in the book?
What's in the book?
Yeah, what's in the book?
It's just literally about my story from just how putting myself first, cancer, and being in remission has
cancer, but it's reality of something, because like I think most people are actually scared of saying the word cancer. Just how you was living and say since you have cancer, which I don't really want to say, but I'm frightened to say that, if you see what I'm saying. How you got cancer? How's your life changed since you've had this condition?
Yeah, I'm not a yes girl anymore. At the moment, I know that my purpose is to be an advocate for lymphoma cancer. To help, and not only just even people with lymphoma cancer, but anyone with cancer. Yeah. Just to give them hope. Yeah. Because, I might have 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Whoever know how long I'm going to have.
Come on, you have a long time to go.
Yeah, but we just don't know. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. That's true. Yeah. So I'm about leaving a legacy.
Don't take things for granted.
Yeah, and you just got to live life. And don't, whatever you want to do, just do it. Yeah. Don't wait for tomorrow. Yeah. If you feel want to do something today, do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you feel like you want to eat, I just want to help people who's going through it. Because it's lonely. It's a lonely world. I'm not like it's lonely. It's lonely.
And what would you say to other people who's actually got this? What would you say to them?
Just, you know what? Be you. be you and only you. Like, don't do anything. Live, be true to yourself as well. Yeah.
And where organization, cancer research, any charities that you're involved in?
Raising money for Royal Marsden Hospice.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
So I was doing, well, it's 40 miles for the month.
Oh, 40 miles for the month.
Yes, so obviously I spread it out throughout the month.
You spread it out.
So it was hard, but I enjoyed it. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was good.
What else? Because was you in a charity? Somebody told you when it was actually, was this before COVID? Climbing a building or abseiling down a building?
No. Oh no, someone was doing it. It wasn't me.
It was you.
No, it's raising money for Gambia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it wasn't me. I didn't do that. I was just raising money, that doing raffles. They was actually doing that, not me. Yeah. For Gambia.
What other charity do you do?
Basically, I do anything. Like I like to give back. I don't believe always taking. I believe giving back. So there'll be more I'll be doing throughout the year. Yeah. I want to do skydiving. I don't like heights, so that's me.
I don't mind if I'm sitting up there. And if I never come down, I don't mind. When I'm going up, I don't like. I don't like. And when the pilot come down and put the brakes on, that's the happiest moment of my life.
So yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say to us? Anything else you want to tell us?
Well, I've got a page, an Instagram page, business, Carnita Tayler Health and Wellbeing in Edgbaston. We do mobile, we do body wraps, we do facials, we do waxing, we do manicure, pedicure, massage.
I still haven't come for one of them.
No, you haven't.
Listen. I am going to try and come next month.
Okay.
Next month, because next month is here, almost here. Next month is almost here, so it's not too far away. So I'm going to try and come next month.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'll hold you to that.
You hold me to that. It has to be on the weekend.
Weekend.
It has to be on the weekend.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
You know what I mean?
We're open on weekends, yeah.
You're open on Sundays?
Yes, we do.
It has to be, it has to be on the weekends, because, you know, otherwise like my time is just, you know, all over the place. My time is, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, yeah, it has to be on the weekend. As I say, I got to ask you one more time. Anything you want to share us with us before we come off the air?
No, just just look out for the book. We'll be launching in September. Yeah. My publisher is Marcia Spence. Yeah. So yeah, the aim is to launch in September.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody want to say hello to or shout out? Anyone want to shout out?
Shout out to my daughter Olivia, my sister
Cassandra, we still need that interview. Cassandra, we still need that interview. I've been trying to hook up with her for ages. Yeah. She ignores me.
She don't. She'll be on here, trust me. She's got a lot to say. Yes, everybody, my friends and family, thank you for supporting. I appreciate you all. I know I can be hard work.
Very, very soon. And that's it. Right, guys, there you hear it. Wonderful Carnita Tayler. It's good to have you on the program. Absolutely marvelous. You know, it's always great interviewing you. You know what I mean? I know we did hook up on New Star Radio as well, which was actually marvelous. You know what I mean? So there you have it, guys. And don't forget, guys, if you want to come and tell us your story, come and tell us your story. We are happy to tell your story. Whatever story it is, you're welcome to come and tell us your story. I'm also coming up on my next program. I'll be having a chat with a wonderful Miss Culture Jam. Miss Culture Jam actually puts she does a thing at the Legacy Center of Excellence, you know what I mean, open mic, and she does that each Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. So you can check that out down there at the Legacy Center at Potter's Lane, you know what I mean. And we'll be our next guest, as I say, will be Miss Culture Jam. We should be here next week, all being well. I don't know if we're gonna have her in the studio or we're gonna do it live yet, but she still needs to make up your mind. Make up your mind, Miss Culture Jam. I know. She still needs to make up her mind. She'll be on our show, you know what I mean? And also, at the end of the month, I'm promised to have a wonderful artist. I don't know if I should tell you his name yet. A wonderful artist from London. He actually will be on our show. Possibly at the end of the month, so it's all good. So I'm not gonna tell you whose name is, just keep it. And artists out there, don't forget, you can hook us up right here. Let me talk to you. Tell us your story. You know the breakthroughtv@gmail.com. You know what I mean? Now you know where to find me. We'll hook us up, and we'll chat to you. We interview. Tell us your story. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to talk about. That's it. And we're opening it wide to everyone. If you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Remember, the program is called What's on Your Mind? Common sense. I know I'm crazy. I am crazy, but it keeps me alive, yeah? Want to say big shout out to you, Jude, United States. The Williamson family, big shout out to you. Blossom in Jamaica. Clive in Jamaica, Carl in Jamaica, all you guys in Jamaica, Light in Jamaica. I ain't seen you for years, don't know when I'm going to see you. Paula in Jamaica, Andrea in Jamaica, big shout out to you, all you guys, your whole family back there, or my whole family in the United States, big shout out to you. Jennifer in Canada, the Wallace family, let me say big shout out to you. Miss G, and don't forget to check out the book, Miss G and me. My producer always say, don't get excited, cuz I'm not going to try and get excited. Don't forget to pick out the book. Check out the book, Miss G and me, you know what I mean? A wonderful book, you know what I mean? Go and check that book out. And let me say thank you for tuning in to Breakthrough TV. I want to say also, big shout out to my producer. He's absolutely marvelous again, once again. Big shout out to you, sir. Hope all is well with you. Let me say thank you for another What's on Your Mind. I say we'll be back here next week. My very good friend, Carl Taylor. Sir, big shout out to you. Philip, how you doing? Also, big shout out to you. Lazara, big shout out to you. Angela, big shout out to you. Brenda, big shout out to you. Rose, Jade, Michelle, Sean, Colin, Donna, big shout out to you. There's so much of you. Hector, big shout out to you as well. Pam, big shout out to you. Gotta say you never call me name, Carl. But I'm calling you now, Pam. Maggie, Miss Dan, big shout out to you. Lydie, big shout out to you. So many of you that's coming into my head. Tyrone, big shout out to you. I'm doing it all tonight. Tyrone, long time no see. Going up with Tyrone, big shout out to you. So I hope all is well, you too. Oh, the lady who cut me in my head many years ago. When I was running from the ball at school, she cut me on my head. See, I don't bear any gallows. We still friends. Big shout out to you. Winsome, big shout out to you. My cousin gonna say, I remember that. Have a great afternoon. God bless you. My time is almost here. My special guest, Carnita Tayler. Let me say once again, thank you for coming into our studio. And have a great afternoon. Look after yourself. Thank you. My time is almost here. Let me say thank you for tuning in to Breakthrough TV. Have a great afternoon. God bless you. Thank you.